how does not understand, especially if he's a worker or a small business person, that a high wage is good for everyone? The answer to this question is actually quite simple. It's because the system is designed to lead you to think that if you pay high wages or higher wages, you will suffer, because if you are a business person, you will have less for your profits, less income, and in some cases it can put your business at risk. But if you are a worker, it's still wrong. Don't get me wrong. I talked about this issue the other day, but it's still wrong. But if you are a worker and you are told this story that we need to make sacrifices for the economy, it's a sacrifice now, we tighten our belts now, we fasten our belts, but it will compensate in the medium long run. It's utter bullshit. Every time this happens, what is happening is money is being extracted from the economy to banks, for example, shareholders of huge companies, and which then they register. It's even public, these profits of these big companies. They register huge profits, and you hear this news, and on the other side of the newspaper, of the same page where the profits are registered, you hear news of, oh, the growth has been very slow, economic growth is stagnated, it's fear of recession, government doesn't have any conditions this year to raise the minimum wage, we have to do spending cuts in education and healthcare, while the profits. And then a few moments later, because this is how it works, it's almost all at the same time, but in different moments, not all at the same time, it's all in very short space of time, but in different moments. Forgive me, because I'm heading to bed. It's not early morning for me, I just worked shift. They tell you that it's good for the companies to have profits. On the next page they tell you there is a recession. On the other page they tell you that if companies have profits, everyone will benefit, because companies will expand, and then they will invest more and create more jobs, which does not happen. And every time it happens, it's always on the basis of precarious jobs, low wages, the lowest wages possible. And of course, in an environment like this, your qualified manpower goes away, because it's not just standing here waiting. People want to go on with their lives, and if they are qualified, they tend to go to places where the economy is more robust, where the companies are working full-time and not just waiting for some investments. And then every time they make these huge investments, which normally results of subsidies given by the European Union or by the states, or if not huge benefits to make these investments, they often have to resort to the qualified manpower from abroad, which then they pay gold. They pay luxury wages. And as a regular manpower with lower qualifications is treated like merchandise, if you have a lot available, you pay little. Although many of these jobs are essential, like we have seen, for example, during the pandemic, they are paid little. So they don't even obey to the They are not paid according to their value. They are paid according to the numbers available on the market, like grapes, apples, flour, whatever that you sell in bulk, that you produce in bulk and distribute to the market. Like oil, for example. And then the narrative is that for people to accept this, the way these things are, it's like people don't have right to. Economy is not working for people's lives. The people that work in the company, although they can be not highly qualified, but their job is needed. That's why they are working there. No one is giving them anything. They are the ones giving and enriching this company. They are badly paid, and then they have little money to spend on the economy, and then the economy shrinks. I'm not an economist, but I can see this. And I don't think you have to be an economist to see this. A healthy economy needs high wages. Plain and simple. Even if you are a small business, let's go back to the small business. Maybe you can struggle if you have to pay high wages. If you, for example, you open a small restaurant, like a few people working there, if the minimum wage increases, like for example 100 or 150 euros in case of Europe or in case of Portugal, that's a significant increase. You will have more customers. And it works. Of course you have to do your job. You can't be just hanging around with your arms crossed, sitting on your ass. You have to provide the service that people want. But the tendency will be for you to have more customers. But it seems like the people are fooled to fall into this trap that a country's economy has to be managed like your own household. That everything is real, because the money you get is the resource you have available. You don't have any more. And it actually doesn't happen like that in a country's economy, especially in a country within the euro, which countries don't own their own currency. Because if they did, it would be much easier. But that's another topic. And so I go back to the first question: how is it so hard to understand this? That the wealth distribution, and when this argument is used, wealth distribution, there are some very moronic people, stupid, a little bit, and they have some flaw in their brains. Sorry if I'm offending anyone. They immediately think just giving away money, distributing money, giving away for free. It's not like that. Everyone, if there are sometimes cases in which people do not feel motivated to find a job to work, it's because of such conditions. Why would I spend my life giving 8 hours, 10 hours a day or more for a job that doesn't provide me with the resources to fulfill the things I want to do with my life other than my job? I mean, it's better to have very little, but at least you have time to be creative, for example, not to be under pressure, to live a healthier life, a less stressful life. I don't understand. How is this so hard? Of course, we know who pushes this narrative, right? The ones who profit the millions. They are the ones who then control the media, who then control everything you see and read and think. And then yeah, the idea gets spread. You have to pay your debts. You have to honor your debts. Therefore, you have to earn less because the debt has to be paid. The deficit has to be respected. And then the country that promotes this ideology the most, the US, is one of the countries with the biggest deficit. Go figure. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I need to go and rest. See you on the next one. Changing topic. Small update on Russell. His wife is, and she's suffering. She's going through a lot, and she put out a statement in her Telegram channel, in which she scolds the people responsible for the death of her husband, and she again appeals to the commanders of these people to stop protecting them. They are not honoring the uniform. Along these lines, you understand. Just wanted to give notice of that. And since we're talking the Eastern conflict, Russia, I'm sure you all have heard of this. Russia is not only continuing the offensive that it was doing and the breakthroughs that it was conducting, but also opened a new front. It's a case, one must say, that the Ukrainians were asking for it. I mean, they kept doing attacks to Belgorod, only at civilian targets. Same way they were doing to Donetsk, they were doing to Belgorod. They were doing incursions and shooting at civilians randomly, really kind of barbaric pillaging style. And so it lasted for quite some time, and now Russia has taken measures and has invaded again, has opened again that front line. I don't think the Ukrainians were expecting the magnitude of the attack, because immediately the villages, the first villages, fell to the hands of the Russians, and they have already reached the first main line of defense. Clashes are taking place, but every time you see the Western media and they say the situation is extremely difficult, it really corroborates the claims that the Russians are indeed having success. So far they seem unstoppable, despite all the aid that is flowing and keeps flowing and never stopped flowing to Ukraine. No matter what you hear, don't believe that. Aid has always been flowing to Ukraine. Propaganda narratives on both sides, they have their reasons to say otherwise, but it has always been flowing. There are many points that prove it. I've spoken about it in previous videos. No need to discuss it now. So, but despite that, the Russians, of course, they are increasing. They are having more and more initiative. It leads me to believe that only now Russians are starting to conduct the war properly. And it's no wonder. It's no wonder. The way it began, it's no wonder. They were not fully prepared, like many people like to say, or like the Western propaganda likes to say. They were ready to invade and arrive at Lisbon. The news about Russians attacking Portuguese interests in Africa, ex-colonies, keep gaining momentum, keep gaining steam. It's funny. The propaganda wants it forcefully to compare it to the interests that the French had, and they were kicked out. But let me put it this way: the Portuguese have no interests such as that. Portugal has no colonies, because France was actually running the ex-colonies like they were colonies again. They were even running the currency, right? You know this. But the Portuguese case, it's none of this. It's just hysteria. It's just same liberals that defend more for the rich, less for the poor. They are the same guys that buy all these narratives. These are the truly people that uphold the system. But it's just a joke in this case. Because São Tomé e Príncipe signed this agreement, military cooperation. Guinea could go the same way. I wish them luck. I hope they fare well, better than they've been faring so far. I hope Africa rises and leaves the status of third world. This is truly my hope. So the more balanced the world is, it's better for everyone. Of course, the extremely rich might not like it because they cannot exploit at will then. You know, capitalism is it's like this vulture. It waits for the crisis and preys on the dead. I mean, in this case, on the dead businesses and on the assets that people have to leave behind. That's why capitalism says it's always see an opportunity in a crisis. This is actually not very positive. Okay, I have to go to sleep now. I hope I see you on the next one. Another thing, almost forgot. I've been having, for the ones that might be new to the channel, sometimes I have live streams or other uploaded videos in Portuguese. Don't quit on the channel just for that, even if you don't speak Portuguese. I'll try to make a broad content. Sometimes more political, sometimes less political. Sometimes I like to interview, for example, a friend of mine that is doing a mad bicycle race, 750 kilometers in a row. I like to interview people that do this kind of challenges for themselves, so that have interesting stories to tell. That might happen. So and at the moment I'm trying to interview also some Portuguese influencers, left-wing influencers. I think it's important for the left to occupy this space, which has been dominated by the right. And yeah, just giving you this information. See you on the next one.